Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube, back with another Dark Shadows video for you guys and gals. I am here to review Dark Shadows episode number 99. That's right, we're almost at 100 here. Um, I have a lot of fun doing this. So, this episode is written by Ron Sproat, directed by Leela Swift. This is By the way, this is the episode Carolyn wears slacks. This is the first time, I guess, in an episode where a woman wears slacks. I don't know why that's relevant at all. But okay. So, God forgive me. Um, because that kind of stuff, it's like, okay, seriously. But in the opening, you have Mrs. Johnson. She comes into the drawing room. She picks up the phone and she calls Burke Devlin. As I mentioned before, she is a spy for Burke Devlin, and she tells Burke Devlin that she believes the house is haunted. Uh, Note from the last episode, keep in mind Elizabeth said the house isn't haunted. So um, there you go. But we have Mrs. Johnson saying she believes the house is haunted. Uh, and she asks Burke, I don't want to risk talking to you for too long. Someone might pick up the extension. Can I meet you in town about in the afternoon? And as she's doing this, Carolyn walks in. She goes, "Yes, doctor, I have arthritis. Arthritis, doctor." Yeah, she has arthritis. All right. Not really. So she hands up the phone with Burke. She's got her. I love her line here. "Oh, I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon. Your mom wouldn't mind if I would go to the doctor's this afternoon." Oh, I don't see why not. um, I mean, it's not like you're trying to bang her boyfriend. Neither is Victoria Winters. So, oh my God. Mrs. Johnson, yeah, that would be a couple. Mrs. Johnson and Burke. No. Now, what the most important thing here is when Victoria Winter is walking into the room and the eavesdropping, the beautiful eavesdropping by Mrs. Johnson. She's just over there dusting on. I've never seen a woman dust a telephone for so long in all my life, and neither did the girls. I mean, they are completely oblivious to the fact that this woman is in the room, literally, and she's in the room. I gotta, I gotta give props to Nancy Barrett and Alexander here because they get so caught up in their conversation here that they play this right again because they're supposed to pay her. Really, their job is to pay her no mind because she's an employee, right? That's exactly what they do. And they do a great job of it. I feel when you go back and you watch these episodes, you'll pick up on some of the littlest detail here. And I think this is pretty little detail because think about this. Okay, she's just an employee, right? They don't know she's working for Burke. And they shouldn't. By the way, they never find out. Um, so that's right. You heard me. They never find out she's working for Burke Devlin. And they're over by the window, and this here is where Victoria Winters tells Carolyn, "Hey, he's dangerous. Burke Devlin is dangerous. I am afraid of him, and if I were you, I would be too." Because she tells Carolyn that there's nothing for her to be jealous of between her and Burke, and guess what? She's actually right. Victoria is right. There is nothing to be jealous of her between to be jealous of. Um, there just isn't. So you have Mrs. By the way, the set locations here, you have Collinwood, the drawing room. Obviously, you have Burke Devlin's apartment. You have the drawing room and the foyer. So those are your set locations for here. You also have someone different playing Azra or whatever his name is, one of the boat captains who worked for Liz Stoddard. He was played. by a different actor here than he was previously. And previously, the character had no lines. So before I get back to him, Mrs. Johnson comes into Burke Devlin's hotel room, and she tells him that she believes Collinwood is haunted. He goes, well, calm down. Tell me what happened. And he goes, I was down in the basement and I heard sobbing. Why would anybody be sobbing? And Burke does give the devil his due. Give Mitchell Ryan playing this character his due diligence, because if you had to think on your feet to give this woman a reason and why this is going on, you better give the most legitimate reason, right? And he does. The pipes in the house are old. Pipes in houses make weird noises like that. And you know what? Here's the sad part. He's not wrong. Pipes do make noises. Now, is it the pipes? No. But again, Mrs. Johnson is very creeped out. And as she tells him, you weren't there. You didn't hear it. There's a knock on Burke Devlin's door, and this is where the boat captain's going to come in. Mrs. Johnson hides in the kitchen and takes her purse, hides in the kitchen. He lets the boat captain in, and the captain gives Burke Devlin his answer on behalf of the men. They will not work for him. They will work for one Liz Stoddard. They're going to continue to work for Liz. Liz has provided for them. Liz has appreciated them. Really what this is battle lines are being formed. They're not drawn. They've already been drawn. They're formed. The townspeople and the boat captains are for Elizabeth. They like Burke, but they feel he's doing this for the wrong reasons. They're not wrong. He is doing it for the wrong reasons. Now, you have when the boat captain leaves, this sets off a unique motion of events to end this episode here. Burke says there's more after he leaves. Mrs. Johnson comes out of the kitchen. What are you going to do now? And Burke says, well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. He picks up the phone and he gets Carolyn on the phone and he asks her out on a date. And Carolyn all but runs into Victoria Winters gleefully after she gets off the phone with Burke, and she tells him, I'm so sorry, Vicky. We're still friends, right? And Vicky says, of course we're still friends. And she goes, I have a date. She goes, with Joe? No. With who? I thought we were friends. I love how Vicky says, hey, you said we were friends. Then we're friends. She goes, it's with Burke. And Vicky says, as Carolyn's going up the steps, Vicky says, can I talk to you in the drawing room? And she says, I wish you'd be careful. He's dangerous. And they have this conversation again, but this time it gets into the pen. And this is where Victoria Winters, finds out that Burke Devlin that had given her a present, a fountain pen. And Victoria Winters says, a fountain pen? And you can tell by Victoria's face that Carolyn is describing the fountain pen that she had in her possession, that Roger took the pen from her. Again, Vicky is learning this for the first time, that Roger was going to give the pen back to Burke, but lost it on the night that Bill Malloy died. Again, I've talked about how information matters, and the best way to to feel sorry for a protagonist, don't give them all the information or give them very little information, or make them be the last to know. And Vicky is often the last to know. It's what makes you feel sorry for her. She's often ushered out of rooms, or she's just not in the same room when the conversation is taking place, or she's just not in that scene when that happens. Again, she didn't know how many hands have actually touched that pen. Now she knows. And by the end of this episode, she begins to suspect Uncle Roger may have killed Bill Malloy. She doesn't say it, but Alexandra's face says a lot. Again, the writers, I'm going to end this with this. This was never about making the audience feel that Burke did it. This was just to find a way to go the roundabout way of making Vicky find out how many hands touched that pen. You could say, well, Vicky thought Burke did it. Yes, because she didn't know who had the pen, how many people had that pen. She knows who its original owner was. And again, now she has all the information. Or does she? She has the most important information to her, right? What an episode. What a fun episode. You get the fact that you get to see Clarice Blackburn scared out of her wits is just fun. I mean, because this is going to become a character trope for her. I mean, her to be scared out of her wits. So eventually it's going to be. But not quite yet. But here she is scared out of her wits. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I also hope you're enjoying your 4th of July weekend. Have a great and safe rest of your weekend. Goodbye.